Hi HMS modelers, this is Matt Fleming from the Hydrologic Engineering Center, and in this video I'm going to talk about the customized delineation tools that are available in HMS. And the tools that I'm going to talk about today, they're available to you to customize sub-basin outlets, how the reaches are delineated so that you can make sure you're getting outflow computed at points of interest in a watershed model. All right, so the tools that I'm going to talk about are from the GIS menu. Right here we have on this slide, we see all the available options from the GIS menu. We're going to focus on merge elements right here, highlighted in red. And then in a few slides, we're going to talk about splitting elements in a basin model. So subbasins and reaches can be merged together. And so in order for the merge operation to happen, those elements have to be adjacent to one another. So you can't pick a subbasin way up in the headwaters of the watershed and then a subbasin in the lower portion of the watershed and merge those. HMS is keeping track of whether those elements are actually adjacent to one another. So what you do is you select those elements in the basin model map, and once those elements are selected, you come to the GIS menu, and then you would choose Merge Elements. At this time, as of HMS version 4.7, you can only merge 2 elements at a time. And so if you had these 3 subbasins right here, the process would be you select 2 subbasins. So you might select subbasin 4 and subbasin 3 right here. You would go to the GIS menu and choose Merge, and those 2 would be merged together. Then you would select the Merge subbasin and then subbasin 5 right here. Go back to the GIS menu and choose Merge again. And then that way, all 3 of these sub areas would be merged into one subbasin. You would do the same process with reaches. So if you wanted to merge 2 reaches together, so if I merge these 3 subbasins, that would leave behind these 2 reach segments right here. And so if I wanted to merge those together, you would simply select the upstream reach. You would select the downstream reach by holding down the control key, come to the GIS menu, and then choose Merge Elements. The program is going to automatically name the new element after the merge operation is completed, and then at any point during the model creation process, you can go in there and change that element name. All right, here we have a figure on this slide showing the reaches being merged. And so for any headwater subbasins, as you're merging those subbasins and headwater portions of the watershed model, the program is going to automatically delete those unnecessary reaches for you. But as you work your way downstream, so here I have a downstream subbasin, and you can tell originally there must have been quite a few sub areas within this local or downstream subbasin. So as I merge those together, it leaves behind these 4 subreaches. And so if I wanted to merge these together, I would follow that same process. I would select the upstream reaches first, the 2 most upstream reaches, and then merge those, and then I would incrementally select that merged reach, go down to the next one downstream, select that one as well, merge those, and so on. All right, so now we've talked about merge. Now we're going to move to splitting elements. And so you might want to split a subbasin or reach element if you have more information or you need the model to compute flow at that point. Maybe you're passing that flow to another model, or you just need that result because you're doing an analysis at that point. And so in order to use the split tool, what you must do first is you need to select that element. So in this figure, I have subbasin 10 selected. And once I have that subbasin selected, I would come to the GIS menu. I would choose the split element option right here. And then you zoom in on the basin model map so that you can see the identified streams layer. So you would need to make sure that you click the mouse pointer when it's on top of the identified streams layer. Once you have that click done correctly, the program's going to subdivide a subbasin at that point so that you have a new subbasin outlet. The same process would happen for river reaches. So first you would select the river reach that you want to split first. Once that reach is selected, you'd come to the GIS menu and you would choose Split Element, and then zoom in and make sure you're clicking on top of the reach, or really on top of a cell that's located in the identified streams layer. Okay, so here we have a figure showing the process of splitting a subbasin. So once you click that point, so you can tell right here where the mouse is located, I clicked that location to split the larger subbasin at that point. And so the program's going to provide me a preview of the new delineation. So you have an option here to either accept or revert. So if you accept the process, so it's going to go through the delineation for you. If you revert it, well, the program will stop, it won't do the delineation, and you will maintain the delineation that was there before. All right. So the next topic here is if you need to split a new subbasin, but the identified streams layer does not extend to the point that you want to delineate. So in this simple example here, you see my reach. So this represents the identified streams layer right here. And let's say I need to delineate a new subbasin at some point higher up in the subbasin. Well, you notice the identified streams layer does not extend to this point about right here where the mouse is at. So what you would have to do is you'd have to rerun the identified streams step to find a smaller threshold for the program to identify those streams. Once you have the identified streams layer extending through the point that you want to delineate to, then you could follow through in the split process. So here's another couple of figures with an example. So I have this point right here, point 2. You notice it's not located within or on top of an identified streams layer. And so what I did is I reran the identified streams. I had a smaller threshold, and you notice in this bottom right figure right here, you can see the new identified streams layer. It extends through that point, and once that happens, I can select this subbasin right here and choose the split element option and then zoom in. So I use the mouse to zoom into this point right here, and I could click a new outlet, a new subbasin outlet at that point. And what you're going to notice is whenever you do that, the program's going to add a bunch of smaller subbasins. So you notice these are the new streams in the identified streams layer. So if you do that detailed delineation at this point right here, at this point in time with version 4.7, the program's going to delineate to that point, but then the program will also add new subbasins for each of these smaller tributaries right here. And the program will only do that within the subbasin that you're trying to split the additional point. So what you would do is you would do the split, and after the split is done, you could come back in here and merge those separate subbasins together. Oops. All right, and on the last slide right here, the split operation also works on reaches too. So you'd go through the same process. You would select that reach in the basin model map. You'd go to the GIS menu and choose the split elements option. And then you'd zoom in and make sure that you click on top of the reach layer or on top of the identified streams layer. And that location that you click, that reach segment will be divided into 2 subreaches. All right, so those are all the slides that I have. Let me jump into the software. I'll give you a few examples. So I have this basin model right here. I've gone through the automated delineation steps, and here are the subbasins that I have. You notice I have these 2 larger headwater subbasins up here, these 2. And you see this sub area downstream, and it's broken up into a number of additional subbasins. Well, you might want to model this area with just one subbasin. So again, the process that you'd want to follow is you'd start from the upstream point. So I'm going to start with this subbasin right here. I'm going to hold down the shift key, or you could hold down the control key. I'm going to select that second subbasin, go to the GIS menu, and choose merge elements right here. All right, so I have that one merged. I'll do the same thing, following the same process. I'm going to select those 2 subbasins and then choose merge elements right there. And keep working my way downstream. Oops. Let's merge those 2 together. Let's see if these 2 can be merged together. Yep. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit to make sure I'm clicking on adjacent subbasins. There we go. And almost done here. All right. 3 subbasins to go. There we go. Last one. And so you notice after this merge process, the program did leave a few junctions behind. If that happens, all you have to do is select that junction and then click the delete key. So those junctions are not connected to anything. All right. So then after the subbasins have been merged, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be those reach segments within that subbasin that you can merge together, or you could leave them subdivided if you want to. But if you do want to merge them together, select those two reaches, come to the GIS menu, and then choose Merge Elements. The program automatically removes that junction that was in between those two reach segments for you. All right. I'm going to merge those two, and then finally this one right here. All right. So there we go. So now we have this one subbasin, whereas before there were 10 or so subbasins representing this area right here. And let's say, well, maybe I have a gauge, a streamflow gauge right here in this subbasin right here. So what you do is you select that subbasin, come to the GIS menu and choose Split Element. Okay, notice how the mouse cursor changed to the crosshair. And then you want to zoom in and then make sure you click on top of the identified streams layer. So there we go. So the program is going to process the terrain, the flow direction, the flow accumulation, all that wonderful GIS data. And then I should get a preview here in just a minute asking whether I want to split the subbasin at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Accept. All right. And so now I have two subbasins right here, and the program went ahead and added a routing reach. So here's the routing reach right here, and it connects the outlet of this subbasin down to the junction right here. You notice the program did not add a junction at the outlet of this subbasin. So if you do want that junction added, what you can do is, let's add that junction right here. All right. I have the junction. I want to connect this subbasin right here. I don't want it to be connected to the reach. I want it to be connected to the junction. So I'm going to change that to be connected to the junction, like that. And then I'm going to connect this junction right here to the routing reach. There we go. And now I can check the connectivity by right-clicking and choosing Resort Elements hydrologically. Oh, something's still not correct. Let me zoom back out. So let's make sure. And then let's resort those again. There we go. Now they're connected to one another. Let's see, I'm still guessing this reach right here. Yep, it's connected to junction 2, which is good. And same for that subbasin. All right. So now let's look at this location up here. So if you notice this location, if I tried to delineate to this point, the program would not let me because there's not an identified stream at this location. So what you'd have to do is go back to the GIS menu and choose Identify Streams. I'm going to change the threshold from 5 square miles. Let's go down to 2 square miles. Okay, this should take just a second. There we go. And now the Identified Streams layer does go through that point. And so what I can do is select the subbasin. There we go. And then choose GIS, Split Elements. I'm going to make sure I zoom in far enough. I'm going to click on top of my Identified Streams grid, and the program should split a new subbasin and a couple of other additional subbasins downstream to that point. All right. There we go. And you notice all those additional subbasins were added to the basin model. So if you don't want those to be included, you can go through the merge process. So very easy to do. So again, you select 2 subbasins here, choose GIS, merge elements, and we'll do the same. We'll just keep working our way. Sometimes you have to zoom in. So GIS, merge elements. Let's do a couple more real quick. Almost done. Last one. There we go. So now we have this one subbasin right here, before there was just one subbasin for this entire area. We had those additional points, so maybe those points represented stream flow gauges, so we had additional information that we wanted to calibrate the model to. And so now we have the watershed. This sub area is now delineated to those three. Now we broke that one subbasin up into three smaller subbasins.